Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and so good to have one of my longtime friends and colleagues in the studio today, and that is Rita Vandergosh, the executive director of the Comic-Con Museum. And I'll just leave it at this. Rita and I have known each other for a long time. So how you doing, Rita?
I'm doing great, Drew, and it's so good to be here.
Well, it's so good to see you, and I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout-out to that wonderful husband of yours, Dale, who I know will be listening to this interview as well. So after a long and storied career at the Port of San Diego, Comic-Con Museum, how long have you been in this position?
A year and a half.
It's been a year and a half. Oh, my goodness. And it's in the old Hall of Champions building and in Balboa Park and so forth. So talk about how you didn't stumble into this. Obviously, you're so well equipped to be in this position. But did someone come to you, or did you say, boy, I'd be interested in running this? Talk about that.
Actually, they did come to me. I was retired, as you know.
I do know.
And I was a volunteer on the steering committee for the Comic-Con Museum because I really wanted to see a new tourism attraction brought to San Diego, and I couldn't think of a better one than this museum. And they went through the pandemic.
They did. And survived.
And survived. It's exactly right. And made a brave decision to open the museum in 2021. They needed someone to step in and run it. Most of the folks that had been with them left during the pandemic,
right?
With the museum. And they asked if I would consider it, and I thought about it, and I thought, oh boy, I've never run a museum. And so I talked with Dale about it, and he said, go talk to him, see what you think. So we had an informal meeting, and it was very interesting. And after I looked at it, I thought, I actually am well equipped to do this.
Yeah, of course you are. And I knew when you were at the port and communications, marketing, and so forth, and you definitely have the skill sets for that, and you know the people in San Diego. That is a step up right there. And San Diego can be a funky place to do business. You know that as well, as do I do. So I think that is terrific. So is the museum open 7 days a week? Talk about the museum itself.
It's open 6 days a week.
6 days, okay.
We'd love to be open 7 days a week. We've got to get to the point to support that.
Yeah, you'll get there.
We will.
Right.
And it's going really well. The interesting thing about the Comic-Con Museum, it's not static. We have rotating exhibits. We do not have a permanent exhibit. So if you're there 6 months later, it's going to be completely new and different. And that is it's like setting up a special event. And you know what that's like.
Oh, trust me, I know what that's like, and I can't imagine doing that all the time. Now, is the museum, does it make its funds on membership? Is it membership and also sponsorship, sponsorship, daily attendance, all of the above?
All of the above.
Right.
And we have been operating with the skeleton crew. And so we're getting to the point where we're adding more positions, and we're going to have the opportunity to start working on. We have started on the membership program. We have a new membership campaign.
Nice.
We have not yet started on the donor program. We have to get resources to do that. We have started on the grants program. And of course, we've been focusing on ticket sales and sponsorships. And that's been going very well.
Right. And how much, and we'll talk about some of the new exhibits you have in a few seconds here, but talk about how closely do you work with actually Comic-Con when the event comes to San Diego, or do you?
We do.
Okay.
We are a division of Comic-Con.
Right, of course.
And I'm on the senior team with the Comic-Con group. And this could not have happened without the Comic-Con,
Right.
Not only financial support,
Right.
but their personnel support. I work for the president of the company, Robin Donlin, directly.
Right.
She has been by my side and has marched with me through this. And it's been a learning experience, not only for me, but for Comic-Con.
No, I bet it has as well. And it sort of makes all the sense in the world. It keeps Comic-Con in people's minds, 7/24, 365, not just when they're here for their big shindig, to say the least, which transforms downtown, as you well know, better than anybody. Talk a little bit about some of the new exhibits, the Animation Academy, from pencils to pixels.
That is an absolutely fun and engrossing exhibit. And if you are a cartoon fan from this, going back 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, you're going to find something that brings back wonderful, fond memories for you. One of the things that I really get great joy in is, of course, this museum is like Comic-Con. People are there to celebrate, to have fun, and to learn. And this exhibit has it all. It's just a lot of fun. We find people staying sometimes in excess of 2 to 3 hours. They get engrossed in learning to do a animated cartoon by drawing the different positions and then having it appear on a screen. They can actually go and learn to draw their characters. And, of course, the history of animation dates back to the early 1800s, early 1819.
And maybe if we even did a little more digging, maybe in the caves of Lascaux, there's some 3000 BC or whatever the year that was in that aspect. We're talking to Rita Vandergaard, Executive Director of Comic-Con Museum. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing wonderful things for San Diegans for more than 60 years, talking about some of the new exhibits at the Comic-Con Museum, which is located in Balboa Park, not too far from the Air and Space Museum in that general area. Just a little hop skip to the Oregon Pavilion parking lot and so forth. So it's a great location. And then you have 5 decades of Comic-Con is also an exhibit, correct?
Yes. And one of the things that I've heard most often since I've been there is you need to have an exhibit about Comic-Con. So we've really thought, what can we do? And we looked at, before the museum opened, they had done kind of a little preview of covers of the various souvenir books that they had at Comic-Con and WonderCon. So with the help of Ron McPhee and Jackie, who has been one of the few people that's been to every single Comic-Con that ever existed, they curated an exhibit of 50 years of souvenir covers from Comic-Con from 1970 all the way through up to last year. And it's really fantastic because you'll see the covers, you'll see the artist names, you'll wonder, if you're familiar with comics, these are all the famous artists going back to Jim Lee, who's a more contemporary artist. The one that I'm struggling with right now is bringing his name out. Is very famous and very well renowned. I'll think of it in a second.
Not the Spider-Man guy, right?
Yeah,
Stan Lee.
No, Stan Lee didn't draw. He wrote.
Gotcha.
And
interesting.
He is an author of many of the comics that are represented.
Okay.
In the book.
Okay. Very good.
But we have some of the most famous artists. When you go, you'll see the stories.
Sure.
And if you look at the art really closely as you go through, there's one thing that keeps kind of appearing over and over again. And it's interesting, and Jackie set me onto this, and it's the palm tree.
Really?
And because it's indicative of San Diego.
Sure it is.
And so the artists incorporate you kind of a theme as you go through and look at the art. And you're going to really enjoy it because it does kind of give you a snapshot of what it was like behind the scenes.
Right, and we were chatting about membership. Membership certainly is very affordable for an individual and for a family of four. You can just go on the website and see that. Do you see a lot of folks that are, okay, I can't wait till the next exhibit comes, so I'm going to be here, or I'm going to see the same exhibit 5 times, whatever, that people are just constantly going into that museum, I imagine?
We are still trying to get known.
Interesting.
It is...
okay.
We are, as a new entity,
sure,
you have to. It takes a while for people to know where you are and what you're doing.
Right.
And you'd be surprised how many people do not know about the Comic-Con Museum.
I am very surprised on this. So, we're going to get the word out here and continue to get the word out here and all the good things that you folks are doing. And I know, Rita, this has always been important to you from when we worked together at the port. And Comic-Con lends itself, this museum, to wonderful work with the schools and education and so forth. So talk about the Education Center.
The Education Center is near and dear to my heart, and also to Robin Donlin, who is a retired educator herself. And we hired a lovely woman by the name of Dr. Emily Schindler. Emily has a PhD in gaming.
Interesting.
And she is a complete, she calls herself a nerd. She loves popular arts. And she has done a fabulous job in just the very short time that she's been there. Our Education Center officially opened in June. Emily started in March. And we already have school in the park classes. We have some of the most creative makerspace workshops. This weekend, we're having an Easter egg hunt, and then you make the crate for it, like an Easter egg crate, and then it pops up, and guess what jumps out? And a chicken and Bugs Bunny. So it is really clever, and they just do a marvelous job. We have a staff of 2, and our education center has grown so fast, we're actually going to be hiring 2 more educators.
Oh, nice.
And we're expecting several thousand kids from the YMCA this summer and others that'll be coming to the Comic-Con Museum. So the word's getting out.
No, that's terrific. We are chatting with Rita Vandergaard, Executive Director of the Comic-Con Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Spotlight on the Community show by Cloudcast itself and sponsored by Mission Fed Credit Union. When we come back from break, I want to talk more about the education programming as an organization that's near and dear to my heart. The San Diego Council on Literacy is working with you on a financial literacy program as we speak. They're actually judging it here in the Mission Fed headquarters, and I think there's going to be a celebration coming up in that area. And then want to talk about, the outreach and obviously if you're involved, there's going to be a lot of community outreach, what you did with Feeding America and so forth and other groups. And we always save time in my Spotlight shows to what can our listeners do to support your efforts. Obviously, get the word out, come become a member, support all those, and we'll chat about that when we return. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
I'm going to be right back with Rita Vandergaard, Executive Director of Comic-Con Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and we will be right back after this commercial message.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and we are back with Rita Vander, Executive Director of the Comic-Con Museum, on another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing wonderful things for San Diegans for more than 60 years, talking about all the great things that are going on with the Comic-Con Museum located in Balboa Park, right by the Air and Space Museum, Automotive Museum, great location, and so forth. And open 6 days a week. We got new exhibits always floating around there. There's a great one called the Animation Academy, From Pencils to Pixels, along with 5 decades of Comic-Con as well. Make sure you go to that website and sign up and become a member as well. We were talking about education and how important that is, and it's a no-brainer. You can probably teach every single subject under the sky with comics, and from science to filmmaking to marketing to physics, you name it. There's every single subject pretty much under the sun with the schools and all that. And I know that's really important to you. Right now, you're doing a financial literacy program, are you not, with the San Diego Council on Literacy?
We are.
Talk about that.
This is our second year to be involved with them, and it's a wonderful program. And the Literacy Council has actually got a program where they teach through the art of comics children about financial management, and it is fantastic. And there's a competition with the art. It's adjudicated, and then the winners, we were able to display their art last year.
Right.
And we'll probably be able to do that again this year in our education center.
Right.
We like to focus on how you can learn from the comics, as you said. And it's absolutely, that's what's so fantastic about Comic-Con and what has happened through comics. Social justice issues have been brought up, science, technology, the future has been foretold, and things that were imagined are now reality. And it's a fascinating area. And what we do with our education center is emphasize, we try very much to have projects that coincide with the exhibit. And at this current time, it's animation. Right. So we have projects that definitely tie back to animation. We even have one of our educators in the exhibit once a week down showing people how to draw characters. It's really fascinating. And literacy is one of the things that is really top of mind. We really want to have everyone be able to read, to comprehend, not be embarrassed by it. And so one of the things that we are working on is having classes even for adults,
right,
and educators.
Yeah, and as you know, I've been involved with the council since it's pretty much almost since its forming. Mrs. Helen Copley, my former employer, was the founder of the Council on Literacy with Brian Bilbray, then a city council from South County. And it's been in business since 1986, so 37 years, and that is something that's near and dear to all of our hearts and still involved with it. And you're right. It's interesting about that, Rita, because there's a lot of great causes out there, without question. We talked a little bit about Feeding America. We'll talk about your involvement with that as well. Hunger, even before the pandemic, was an issue, certainly exacerbated by it. But literacy is the lifeblood of, if you can't read in this era, with technology and social media, you talk about the gaps getting bigger. It is absolutely huge. And I think, what's interesting about it is still there's some folks that aren't embracing it like it's something that is absolutely so critical. Can you imagine if you wake up tomorrow and you can't read? You can't imagine it because you'd be lost and all that. So good for you for doing that. And you mentioned also about history and stuff. I'm sure there's exhibits that have been out there about, you can literally teach history through the comics, okay, without question. You
definitely can. And you may know that the San Diego State University has one of the oldest comic book collections in the world, I think, dating back to the early 1700s. And we've been working with them, and we will continue to partner with them and do collaborations to advance what they have and it's fascinating. We want the history of comics does go back to the caveman,
Right.
and people had to have a way to express what was going on, and they didn't read then, so they did it through drawings.
Absolutely. And I think, you listen, what the beauty of this, and the folks that was just on before you came on, our friends from Villa Musica, when you are teaching these important life skills like reading and history and empathy, which I think is so critical, for those students that may not succeed as much on the aspect of being an auditory learner or whatever the case may be, but could be great as a kinesthetic learner because they can draw, or a visual learner because they can see what's going on. We all know those are the different learning styles. That is so important. And so whatever the medium is that helps you learn, you should go for it. And whether it's dance, whether it's music, whether it's cartoons, and that's beautiful what you folks are doing. I know you're just going to grow. You mentioned, Rita, about working with the schools and doing maybe some summer programs. I'm not sure if you're involved with the San Diego Foundation's Level Up program and so forth. There's some good funds for that. But do the students come to you, or do you go out to the classes?
We do both.
Right.
We have right now we're focusing because we only have 2 educators.
Right.
We work with the school in the park.
Right.
And we're handling middle school, which
Right.
is one of the more challenging
Yes, it
age
is.
groups,
Right.
6th, 7th, 8th graders.
Right.
And that's one day a week. Our educators go to their classroom.
Right.
The rest of the time they come to us.
Right.
And then, of course, we have field trips. And we have a big campaign with the YMCA this year where they're going to be bringing over 1,000 kids
That's
into
great.
the museum. We do not have a summer camp program yet.
Right.
When we hire our 2 new educators, our goal is to have a winter camp.
Right.
And
Nice.
then to grow into the spring and summer camps, which that's very, very important. And the focus, Emily and Danny are working on, what is going to be the focus of these summer camps. There's so many different options. Literacy is Emily's first love, and actually mine as well. So, I think that's got maybe a leg up over some of the others. But we are committed to STEAM, and everything that we do is going to incorporate all of those aspects that you have just talked about: science, technology, arts, math. It is a fabulous opportunity to be able to not only entertain, but to educate.
Yeah. It's absolutely such a no-brainer. And we're chatting again with Rita Vandergaal, Executive Director of the Comic-Con Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We mentioned briefly you worked with Feeding America, right? Talk about that.
San Diego, the branch in San Diego.
Right.
And Feeding San Diego. And that came to me. Actually, I'd only been there a couple of months, and they came in with an idea that they wanted to collaborate with us on creating a Hunger Action Hero. We thought it was a fabulous idea, and we worked together to create a contest for K through 12. We sent it out into the community. Feeding San Diego did most of the lift.
Right.
And used, of course, the brand of Comic-Con, and Courtney Gant and I worked together to put that together. And we got over 400 entries. Then we had the entire, anyone that wanted to could vote on our website, on Feeding America's website. And we selected 2 winners. One was a high school senior who created a character called Demeter, from the mythology and Demeter's mission. They had to give us a backstory. Her backstory was, of course, Demeter spread the seeds and from which the food could grow, and people could go and rescue the food from the fields.
Nice.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, those are the types of things, those connections. And one thing I also want to mention is that you also do host events at the museum as well.
We do, and I just want to tell you, next step of Feeding America, because it is growing, Feeding San Diego.
Yeah.
They have actually gotten a grant to create a comic book.
Really?
To show
Nice.
students how to rescue food. And so we're working on that with them too.
Well, that's good. Well, listen, Rita, I know we're going to have you back on again, and then maybe bring in some of the education folks and talk about what those programs look like. Any final comments?
I just think that you need to come explore the Comic-Con Museum. It is in beautiful Balboa Park. And the weather's getting beautiful now. No reason to stay at home.
Yeah, none of this rain business. That's right. Hold that off. And what's the website if people want to find out all the cool things going on?
ComicConMuseum.org.
Very simple. Promise you'll come back on?
I promise.
Rita Vandergog, so good to see you again. She is the executive director of the Comic-Con Museum. Take a look at their very cool exhibits that are going on now. The Animation Academy, From Pencils to Pixels, cover story, 5 decades of Comic-Con, and get engaged with these folks. A lot of fun stuff going down there. Give a high five to your wonderful husband, Dale, for me, and I'll look forward to having you back on.
Thank you, Drew.
You bet. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.